The rain had been falling steadily for 2 days when William Cole rode into the outskirts of Redemption, Texas, in the spring of 1882. He was 35 years old, owner of one of the most prosperous ranches in the territory, and he had come to town to meet with his banker about expanding his cattle operation. As he rode past a cluster of makeshift tents on the edge of town where the poorest travelers camped, something made him stop. Through the rain, he could see a woman huddled inside a torn canvas tent with a small child. The tent was barely providing shelter, and both the woman and child were soaking wet. William dismounted and approached the tent. "Ma'am, are you all right?" The woman looked up at him with hollow, exhausted eyes. She was perhaps 25 years old, though hardship had etched lines of worry into her face. The child, a little girl of about 3, clung to her mother's side, shivering. "We're managing, sir," the woman said quietly, though her voice lacked conviction. "When did you last eat?" William asked directly. The woman hesitated, then spoke in a whisper, barely audible over the rain. "We haven't eaten in 5 days." William felt something tighten in his chest. 5 days. This woman and her child hadn't had food in 5 days. "Wait here," he said firmly. He rode quickly to the general store and bought bread, cheese, dried meat, apples, blankets, and a large waterproof tarp. When he returned to the tent, the woman was trying to comfort the crying child. "Here," William said, handing her the bread first. "Eat slowly. Your stomach won't be used to food." The woman broke off a piece of bread and gave it to her daughter before taking a small piece for herself. Tears streamed down her face as she chewed. "Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't know how to repay you. What's your name?" William asked as he began securing the tarp over the failing tent to keep out the rain. "Margaret. Margaret Hayes. This is my daughter, Emma." "What brings you to Redemption, Mrs. Hayes?" "It's Miss Hayes," Margaret said quietly. "Emma's father left us before she was born. I've been traveling, trying to find work, but no one wants to hire a woman with a child. We ran out of money a week ago. I've been trying to find any kind of work, but—" She gestured helplessly at their surroundings. William finished securing the tarp and looked at the woman and child. They were both painfully thin, their clothes worn to tatters. The child was barefoot. This wasn't just temporary hardship. This was desperation that had been building for a long time. He made a decision that surprised even himself. "Miss Hayes, I own a ranch about 8 miles from here. I need someone to manage my household. My last housekeeper left to care for a sick mother, and I've been struggling to keep things organized. I'm offering you a job. Room and board for you and Emma, plus wages. You'd have your own quarters, and Emma would be safe and fed." Margaret stared at him in disbelief. "Sir, hi. Why would you offer this? You don't know me. I could be anyone. You're a mother who hasn't eaten in 5 days, so your daughter could have whatever scraps you found," William said. "That tells me everything I need to know about your character. Do you accept?" "Yes," Margaret whispered. "Yes, absolutely." "Good. Let me take you to get out of this rain. We'll get you both cleaned up, properly fed, and tomorrow I'll show you the ranch." William took them to the town's only boarding house and paid for a room for the night. He arranged for the boarding house owner to provide them with hot baths, clean clothes, and a proper meal. The next morning, collected them in his wagon and drove them to his ranch. The ranch was impressive, a large main house, well-maintained barns, and vast stretches of grazing land. Margaret looked overwhelmed as they approached. "This is all yours?" she asked. "Built it over the past 12 years, William said. "Started with nothing and worked my way up. The house is too big for one person, though. It needs a family." "Okay." He showed her to a comfortable suite of rooms off the main house. "These are yours. You and Emma will stay here. Take today to rest and settle in. Tomorrow we can discuss your duties." Over the following weeks, Margaret proved to be everything William had hoped for. She was organized, efficient, and had a natural talent for management. She turned his chaotic household into a well-run home. She cooked excellent meals, kept everything clean and organized, and managed to do it all while caring for Emma. But more than her competence, William found himself drawn to her quiet strength and dignity. Despite everything she had endured, Margaret never complained. She worked hard, was grateful, but not obsequious, and raised Emma with firm but loving guidance. Emma blossomed with regular meals and security. She went from a silent, frightened child to a cheerful little girl who loved helping her mother and following William around the ranch. 3 months after Margaret arrived, William realized he had fallen in love with her, not just for her appearance or her competence, but for who she was as a person, resilient, kind, hardworking, and devoted to her daughter. One evening, after Emma was asleep, William asked Margaret to sit with him on the porch. "I need to talk to you about something important." She looked nervous. "Is something wrong? Have I done something improper?" "No, nothing like that. Margaret, these past 3 months have been the best of my life. This house finally feels like a home, and that's because of you and Emma." He took a deep breath. "I'm going to be completely honest. I've fallen in love with you. I love your strength, your kindness, the way you've raised Emma. I love how you've made this place feel warm and alive. And I love Emma like she was my own daughter." Margaret's eyes widened. "William, I don't know what to say." "I'm asking you to marry me," William continued, "not because I need a housekeeper or because I feel sorry for you. I'm asking because I genuinely love you and want to build a life with you. I want to give Emma a real home and a father who will love and protect her. I want to give you the security and respect you deserve." Oh. Margaret's eyes filled with tears. "I love you too. I've been afraid to say it, afraid you'd think I was just grateful or trying to secure our position. But I do love you, William. You're the kindest, most honorable man I've ever known. Is that a yes?" William asked, hope rising in his chest. "Yes," Margaret said, smiling through her tears. "Yes, I'll marry you." They were married a month later in a small church in town. Emma served as flower girl, delighted to have a father at last. William legally adopted Emma, giving her his last name and all the rights and protections that came with it. At the wedding reception, William's banker, who had become a friend, raised a toast to William, who rode into town to expand his cattle operation and came back with something far more valuable, a family. William smiled and pulled Margaret close. "I gave her bread and my last name. She gave me everything that makes life worth living." Years later, when Emma was grown with children of her own, she would tell them the story of how her mother and William met. "We were starving in a tent in the rain," she would say. "We had nothing and no hope. And then a man stopped. He could have just given us money and ridden away, feeling good about himself. Instead, he gave us a home, a future, and a family," Margaret would add, holding William's hand. "Your grandfather saw 2 desperate strangers and decided to give us not just charity, but opportunity and dignity. That changed everything." William would smile and say, "I gave you bread and a name. You gave me love and purpose. I'd say you gave me far more than I gave you." Because sometimes the greatest treasures come from the most unexpected places. Sometimes stopping for strangers in the rain changes your life forever. And sometimes what starts as simple kindness becomes the foundation for love that lasts a lifetime. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales of unexpected kindness, second chances, and love that sees beyond circumstances. Comment below about what this story meant to you. Thank you for listening and believing in the power of choosing compassion over indifference.